Hello, hello, hello.
Happy New Year.
Look at my hair.
Oh, look at
It's all
your hair.
wild already.
Look at my hair.
I
I need a
Look
haircut.
at your hair. This is where we do our grooming.
Yep.
We turn on our cameras and we're going live on Insta if you prefer Insta. Checking connection. There we go.
We're live.
Hello.
We are live.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2019. I'm super excited for 2019. Did you have a good break?
I had an awesome break. Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's
How about you?
We had a great break. We did a lot of wedding planning.
Yes, you did.
I may have mentioned, but my daughter's getting married and we're very excited about it.
It's
very
fun.
excited.
Fun
Yeah.
time in life. Yeah.
Mhm. So we spent our break doing wedding planning, but super fun.
Yeah.
How about resolutions? Are you a resolutions person, or
I am.
where are you with that?
Well, I don't like have set resolutions for January 1st or 2nd. Sorry. I do the daily thing. I have daily goals, weekly goals, and then I have long-term goals. But this year, one of my things is I'm going to practice the guitar more.
Maybe
I'm trying to be musical.
maybe next week she'll come
Maybe.
play for us.
Nope.
Or do you need a few more?
I need a lot.
Play. I have actually heard you. You're actually pretty good.
I'm not, but thank you.
She's pretty good. No, for those of you who don't know, at one point we took a guitar lessons together. That was one of our fun things, and made fun of each other all the way through it. We're those kind of really good friends where we just
make
mock
slam
and laugh.
Humor.
Yep.
We don't do that to other people, just each other.
This is true. It spurs us
We're
on.
We're nice to you people.
Yeah.
We try.
No, we're very nice to you guys. No, New Year's resolutions. It's interesting because I think everybody handles them differently.
Yeah.
But I think as we come on as 2019, what I love about 2019 is it is a new start.
Yeah.
I am so excited about this because I think we all live in this state of being feeling like we're maybe the only ones that are not doing this well. I think as parents, let me just say this, parenting is literally the hardest job. I have worked, 15 to 20 different kind of jobs in my lifetime, all the way from firefighter, mosquito inspector, real title. Someday we'll talk about it because I'm sure you're really interested in my mosquito inspector, Angie Taylor days.
No, you're not.
I can tell you literally everything you want to know about a mosquito.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Little known fact about me, Rochelle.
She impresses me all the time with new things.
That is like highly impressive too. It's a highly impressive title that I carry back back to our topic though. The reality is I think as parents, our kids are our most precious individual, but I can remember thinking, and still some days think, who in their right mind allowed me to have this child? Like, I can barely take care of myself some days.
Yes.
And so honestly, guys, our intention with this is to join hands with you and say, you're not alone.
Right.
Like, you are not alone when you feel like you're missing it or you're not getting it quite right. Everybody, find the most competent looking person in the world, and when it comes to their kids, our kids kind of expose us what we're doing or what we're not doing. And they're also children, so they don't, we can say, hey, do this, and they do that. So they expose us. Yeah. Going back to being 2019, what I love about 2019 and a new year, and I'm actually really big on New Year's resolutions, but today we're not actually talking about New Year's resolutions. I actually am excited about 2019 New Year's resolutions. Where I've gotten it wrong in the past, though, on resolutions is I was always trying to either break a bad habit or stop doing something rather than starting right here in my thoughts.
Everything starts with your thoughts.
Everything. Honestly, if we could break down your thought life and our thought life, literally. So can I go a little academic today?
Go academic.
We're going to go
academic. For it. Yeah.
We're actually in a school right now, so we're going to go a little academic. It's really interesting. 75% of what you do in your day is spent unconsciously. Like it is spent in your subconscious world. So if you think about what you do first thing in the morning, like you have these rituals and routines that you do that you don't even think about, right? They're just a part of you do things without any knowledge of thinking about. In fact,
like driving to school. I don't remember how I got here because I take the same road every day. It's like, I don't even remember driving.
I would like you to call me before you leave your house.
I can't remember driving to school today.
You're so funny. But it actually is true.
It's the habit that you always do.
It's true. So really what we need to do and what I've shifted from in resolutions, like my historical resolutions have always been about fixing something that's broken with me.
Right.
That's, I think a lot of people, Brendan Burchard talks about this. A lot of people are literally just trying to fix something they perceive as wrong or broken, rather than going, man, here's who I want to be.
Right. Yes.
Here's who I want to be. And if I want to be that person, and having a really clear vision,
right.
You know, I think we talked early on about who do you want your child to be on 20.
Yeah.
But the reality is, guys, if you don't start with you, because what we understand about science from 0 to 6 years old, this is mind-blowing to me. Kids spend the vast majority of their time in the subconscious world, meaning their environment is informing them of what to believe from 0 to 6 years old. In fact, a lot of people, even as adults, if they have really bad self-esteem, if they think poorly about themselves, that was actually, if the studies will show you, that a lot of that was probably instilled into them from 0 to 6.
Wow.
But if you understand that a lot of your day is spent in your subconscious world, what you can do. The great news for you is you can shift that. You can change that.
Yes.
You can actually, this is what the mind-blowing great research is showing us, that we can change that by starting with our thinking.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're shifting from New Year's resolutions to how are we thinking about who we are.
And also on that, when you think of a New Year's resolution, I feel like sometimes it's always good to evaluate your life and your past and all that. What did I do that I shouldn't have and stuff, but don't dwell on it, because sometimes you look back at your failures of, oh man, I didn't do this and I wanted to, and I didn't do that. And all of a sudden we're living in this defeated mindset. And then when that happens, right away, you're feeling bad about yourself. You're thinking negative thoughts about yourself, because I failed at this, this, and this. Yeah. And then, instead of looking in the back view mirror, like looking backwards, look forwards and say, okay, from here on, I choose to do this and this. I'm not going to think about my past. I'll learn from it, but I'm not going to dwell on it. And I think too many times, even as a child with children, you know, like you said, 0 to 6 years old, the comments we hear, and as parents, sometimes when we react instead of respond, we might say something just out of, we're impatient, so we say something, a word here and there, it sticks in their brain and they think it. And then when the more you think about it, it's a negative effect, and research has shown that negative thoughts affect the brain in an unhealthy way.
True. But here's what surprised me the most about this is often we think it's what we say to our child, right? But that actually isn't true. It's, what does my child see me doing? What do I believe to be true about me? You know, if I'm that mama looking in the mirror going,
Right.
I'm so
Yeah.
ugly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so,
Yeah. You
I'm
gotta
so,
be
that
like
is
mentored, yeah.
training or, God, I suck.
Yeah.
That is training
It is. Yeah.
your kid how to think about themselves, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
What you say. So our encouragement for this episode is really about start with your thinking. For example, this year, my thinking, I have three things that I'm really focused on a personal. First of all, my word. I think a lot of people like the word. I love the idea of a word for the year. That's really super useful. My word for this year is actually embody. Why? Kind of a weird word. I get it. I probably am not going to find a pretty little plaque
that says embody.
I see all these people that have pretty little. If you see a plaque that says embody, maybe shoot me a text about it because I'd love it. But no, here's why.
Someone will make you one now.
Somebody will make me one. We need more viewers for that to happen. Here's what I love about the word embody. I think all of us, if you're watching and listening, we know things to be true.
Right.
We know things to be true. I know I shouldn't eat poorly. I know I shouldn't do this.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
But we're not living in being. So transferring, I hope I'm not getting too academic on this, but transferring what I know to who I am is like, that's everything for me this year. Is transferring what I know to be who I am, so there's congruency in my life.
Right. That's good.
So the words embody, but then I have like mantras, and this is key, guys. We're all the same, like, and that's the thing we want to hear, because I think there's like, man, I used to be the girl walking around going, I'm not enough, I'm stupid, I'm this. I used to struggle severely with panic attacks in my 20s. I think you did too.
I went through a period of about 9 months of that's a whole nother story. But it was panic attacks, which I'd never had in my life. And it wasn't until I had kids and they were little, and part of it started out with I was sick. I got really sick, and long story, but then it developed from that. Am I ever going to get better? What's wrong with me? Who's going to raise my kids? Am I going to die? To where I had panic attacks, but then it's like they kept going and going and going, and trying to get a hold of that was,
And I would say, in my experience, the day, and we talked about this earlier today, the day we, number one, started taking every thought captive, and teaching our kids to take thoughts captive.
Because we can.
Because
we can. You don't need to let your thoughts rule you and dictate your life.
Yeah, I think if you live in that space of that's impossible, I can't, I'm broken in some way, I think it's really important to know that you can't simply say, I take that thought captive, I'm not going to think about that. You actually have to replace it.
Sure.
Right? So, example, rather than looking at the mirror and going, oh, I'm fat and ugly, I have made a very conscious decision to look in the mirror and go, I am strong and fit. I am focused. Which, by the way, those are my three words. The three focus points for me is strong, fit, and focused. And we're going to talk about all of that in another episode of how you can really implement those things. But I think it is so imperative that if you have New Year's resolutions this year, I have this hair that is like,
it's really bugging me too.
I know.
No, I'm kidding.
Excuse us. I know. Why don't you tell me these things before?
I didn't notice.
This is where I question your friendship.
I know. Sorry.
So, even though Rochelle's not a good friend to me,
I try.
I'm just kidding. She's
You're
the
a
best.
hard one to be a good friend.
She's.
I love my
I know. She's actually the best. We're literally the best of friends.
Yes.
Anyway, holy smokes.
Sorry, we got off track. Talking about thoughts and
Thoughts.
captives and action.
Yes. So
Resolutions.
Resolutions. Thank you. I think if you have resolutions, that's awesome. I love resolutions, but you actually got to backtrack, reverse. Your resolution is the end.
Right.
It is not the beginning. Because
Exactly.
what you have to do is start thinking, what were the thoughts?
Yep.
Right? So currently, a common resolution is health and fitness, right? Well, if you just jump into health and fitness, you're going to be like everybody else that spends the first 3 weeks of the year in the gym, and then you go back into your own habit. The reason is because your habits are not defining you, your thoughts are defining you.
Exactly. Yes.
Your thoughts actually become your habits. And too often we're not tackling the thought process that actually got us into the habit. And so you have to back it up and go, what is the thought I have that gets me into this habit? It's learning to take thoughts captive, but it's learning to, I replace this. Again, we talked about this today. We replace it with scripture.
Yeah.
We replace it with, I have mantras. I am really big on making sure that I have the replacement. What is the thought? How am I replacing it?
Yes.
And what are you saying to us, Kim? I see you're talking to us. Yes, we can easily curse ourselves. That was in my devotions today. Yes. Thank you, Kim. Thanks for, you're totally right. It's really common. I think that's the thing. Our greatest desire for doing this is, guys, parenting is so hard. It really is. It's just, it's
not a walk in the park.
It's
rewarding, and there are days that it is a walk in the park and it's fun, but we have those days where you are trying to, we want to raise amazing kids. All of us do. And it's work, and it won't just happen on its own. It's intentional. You got to be purposeful. You got to train your kids.
But it's interesting because if you'll start with you, start
it has to start with us.
I love if you have resolutions for this year. I love that we're in January 2nd, because probably a lot of you already have your resolutions. If you haven't, backtrack now. What were the thoughts? Because usually resolutions end up being a habit I want to stop.
Right.
Or start because I think something's broken. Backtrack, what was the thought that got you there? And then start with that thought. Start with who you want to be.
Yes.
And then, quite honestly, then share it with your family. Share it with your kids. My husband and I have been talking about this a lot more with our kids about, hey, our goal is to live more consciously. Our goal is to be more intentional about our lives, about our spending habits, about that, because we realize it's just so easy to get in this unconscious place where you don't even think about it.
You get busy and you just live moment to moment because you are so busy, and especially this day and age when people are working and kids are in sports and they have their music and they have all this stuff, you don't stop to think and to evaluate and to take inventory of your life and what are you doing and why are you doing it, and then the next the days go by fast, and then after then there's a month that goes by, and then it's a year, and then you're like, oh shoot,
and you do the tomorrow thing. You got to stop doing the tomorrow thing's going to kill you. You got to stop it. It has to be today. It has to be today. Look, that hair. It has to be today, and making sure that you don't allow yourself the tomorrow excuse.
Exactly.
But if you did yesterday, allow yourself the tomorrow excuse, let it be today. I just think, what Rochelle is saying, though, it feels like it's so much work. Guys, it's more work to live broken. It's more, you pay now with your kids or you pay later. But you will pay. There's always a price tag to pay. You're either getting to reap the fact that you're invested in intentional parenting right now, or you'll pay as they get older.
And you can't. I mean, I've heard parents say this. Well, it doesn't matter what I do; they're going to turn out the way they are going to turn out. And no,
so
and
there's
like,
no research that would support that statement.
No, and you can't just leave it to chance. You cannot. They'll turn out the way they want if you're not going to help them and guide them and train them. But they're sponges. They will take in so much.
It's true.
And it's up to us to pour into them, to download into them what we see is, for them to be healthy and responsible and givers and all of the things you want for your child to be as an adult. It's our responsibility to raise
True.
and to pour into them.
True. Their belief system about themselves
Yeah.
and about the world and about their spiritual life actually all are coming from you and the environment.
Yes.
And if you're saying, yeah, but I'm not really talking about that with my kid, then they're probably getting it from social media, from their peers.
They're
the
they're
thing
getting it from somewhere.
The thing that we all have to realize is like our kids' environments inform their belief system.
Yes.
And we as a parent can be really intentional about that.
Yeah.
And help create that.
And we should be.
By the way, it starts with you. You got to be an intentionally healthy parent. If you're not right now, we want to tell you there's hope. Like,
absolutely.
There's so much. Like, I feel like we both
Uh-huh.
had our battles with depression. We both had battles with anxiety and panic attacks. But we're both sitting here to tell you it absolutely is possible to shift and change.
For sure. And so, you know, I have to say, it was a blessing to me that I went through the anxiety and the depression. And the reason why is because, I'll just be honest, as a believer in Christ, being a Christian my whole life, I always felt like Christians shouldn't battle depression or anxiety because, you know, God is our source, God is our strength, God is our peace. And those are true. It's true. But stuff happens that you may not understand about your own body, whether it's a chemical imbalance, whether it's hormonal imbalance. And like I said, I didn't understand true anxiety, true depression. I didn't get it. And I felt myself, maybe I was a little judgmental about Christians who didn't, maybe because they didn't have enough faith.
You're not anymore.
You know, and it's like, once I went through that, that was the best thing for me because God just showed me what it's truly like. Like, you can't say you understand a person unless you've been where they've been. You can't say that. And so God gave me such empathy and compassion for people who truly experience anxiety and depression. And it wasn't until I'd never experienced that until I was an adult in my 30s. And it's like, oh Lord, thank you, because I wouldn't have got it. Well, and God turned that into a blessing.
I'm very much like you, and I would like to add to that, though, if that's where you are today, if that's the place that you find yourself. Listen, you may go, I took my thoughts captive yesterday, and I battled all through yesterday and won, but today, I'm losing it. Can I just encourage you that it is doing the work over time? It isn't like, it's not I don't feel like I was out of it like that. I feel like it was consistently day after day, journaling, grabbing every thought captive, exercising, like this very intentional fight and battle over time that produced really profound results for me.
And honestly, keep doing the things you know you need to do and don't stop, because for me it was like a 9-month process, but man, I'm actually glad I went through it. Well, and shout out to all the single moms and dads out there. I admire you so much, because I don't know what that's like, and I can't imagine not having my husband as my support. I don't. I'm committed to pray for you guys every day because that is huge. True. But seriously, we've been there.
Yeah, we've been there.
Totally,
our goal
get
today is to give hope. Our whole hope-filled purpose of stopping in the middle of a day to do this is to say you're not alone. There are parents out there with you that are walking with you, that are standing with you, that you need to know you can make it. You need to know your kids can make it, because I think a lot of times I had that fear that I was going to jack up my kids. Like, my kids would need therapy. They may still.
I need therapy. Just kidding.
I know, you spend enough time with me. Most people in my circles believe therapy is necessary. I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
It's not true.
No, but it is over time, and the same thing with disciplining your kid. You know, that's it. Like,
it's a whole nother.
Honestly, so start
Do
with
I discipline too much or too little?
Yeah,
and
start with your thoughts about you first. Start with
Absolutely.
your thoughts about you first. Adopt the word, the saying, the things that you need to embody.
Yes.
And then because that will transfer into your kids and your kids
Right.
will see it.
Oh, yes.
That's where it's crucial. So if you have resolutions, awesome. I love that you have resolutions. I've always been a goal-oriented girl. Walk it back, guys. Walk it back to what was the thinking in that process that needs to change. Because if you don't change your thinking, in 3 weeks, you'll be dropping the ball on resolutions.
Yes.
It's got to start with your thoughts. Okay.
Thoughts. Yep.
And that's we had a fun day. We actually planned out the next 6 months
Yeah.
for we'd actually love to hear from you if you have
Yeah.
things that you go, hey, talk about this. We have questions about this. Again, we're trying to
We wanna
be
know. Yeah.
a voice for not be a voice, but be a support system. Add value to our mom and dads out there.
And to support you that you are not alone. We've all been there. We all struggle. We all have issues. We have questions. And
but there's a lot of freedom as we
Yes.
talk openly and honestly about that and work together on those things. There's just a ton of freedom when we join forces together. My good friend Tia Wood always says we're better together. And it's so true. It is so true. We need each other. So if you enjoyed this, we would love it if you would share this with your friends. Share it on your social media feed. Invite them to follow our Parenting for Divine Destiny. I've been reading a ton of articles that I'll probably post to our page that I'm really enjoying about just what's going on in your kiddos' brains. That honestly, I look at it and it's, even as an educator, I would say I didn't understand how their brains were functioning.
And there's more and more research. More and more research. That's
Listen, we're
amazing.
going to actually redesign education based on this new research on here's how the brain functions. Because there's actually things that we're doing in education that need to shift when we really understand how a kid's brain is created and how it functions, which I'm super excited about because I love this stuff. So anyway, God bless you guys. Share it if you like it. We love you. We do pray for you because
we do.
You are doing the most important job in the world. Literally, there's not, I don't care what company you're running. I don't care what job you have. There's nothing more important
those little lives
than the lives in your home. There really isn't.
True.
You can get a new job. Your little babies are it. So take good care. Thank you. Have a great day.
See you later.
See ya. Yeah, that